Happy Sunday, Beyond the Gates fans. It's that time of the week again. We are previewing a new week of Beyond the Gates, which at least looks better than this past week. This past week was certainly a rough one. Per usual on Sundays, I will get to some of y'all's comments over the past week and see what you all thought about the past week, too. But first, we will check out the video preview and give my thoughts on what we might or might not be seeing. We start the video preview with Chelsea telling Kat that the phone calls are not a real coincidence. She knows they are not. So Chelsea's going to continue to think that this is probably Allison. I have no idea if the show is actually bringing back Allison for a little stint or not. I wouldn't mind it. I do think it would actually add a little spice. I think Allison was a pretty entertaining psycho. I know this show right now has plenty of psychos, actually, with Leslie, of course, and now Heather. But Allison is her own brand of psycho, too. So we'll see if she actually comes back or not, though. Kat goes to Jacob and asks what if Allison escaped. So I assume Jacob could check up on that information pretty quickly and know if Allison escaped or not. So maybe this is just Kat making sure that it's not Allison and that Chelsea's just imagining the worst. But I guess it is odd who else would be calling and hanging up on Chelsea, unless it has something to do with Madison's case. Maybe it's Madison's mom, who we still have yet never met. Next, we have Eva breaking up Kat and Izaiah, who are laughing together, and then Eva gets kissy-kissy with Izaiah. This is one thing in their preview I don't like. I do not need another triangle with Eva and Kat in it. They don't have any other ideas of what to do with Kat and Eva. None. Two of the best younger characters on the show, and this show refuses to really give them their own good directions, their own dramatic directions. I do not want any other love triangle with these two. But this show does like to go the obvious route, so they might. Next, we see Hayley with Randy joking about how Bill may stop breathing by the time she gets back. And then Bill is looking through the window at them together. So I guess Bill's going to be getting out of the hospital unless he's imagining this. With this show, it could be a fake out. It could be a dream. It could be a daydream. Who knows? But if it's not, maybe Bill's going to be back on the suspicious train that Hayley and Randy/Sammy are having an affair of some sort. I hope it just leads to some drama. For the love of God, can this lead to some kind of drama for this show? But I'm sure Hayley's just going to be able to talk her way out of it with Bill anyway. Dani is telling Hayley that she couldn't understand what her and Andre have because it's rooted in love. And then Hayley claps back, saying, so rooted that Dani is constantly sniffing around her marriage and her man. So Hayley, again, going to call out Dani for always being around Bill, being so concerned about Bill lately. Obviously, Bill is sick, though, so I can understand why Hayley doesn't know the extent of Bill and Dani's elevator lovemaking, obviously. But I do, like I said this week, I do like that Hayley is now getting the best of Dani in these little head-to-heads, because it needs to happen. I'm assuming that this scene is going to be on Monday's episode and going to be a continuation of what we saw Dani and Hayley sparring on Friday's episode. Next, we see Ted asking Andre if he is in trouble. I do think Andre is going to tell Ted what's going on with Heather, or at least an extent of what is going on with Heather, because as we saw from this past week's flashback episode, Ted is going to understand what it's like to have a woman from the past. I do like that Andre is going to tell someone, at least. It is just going to be a stall, because he's going to tell Ted, and I don't know what that's going to lead to. But I guess I at least like that Andre is going to tell Ted. Or maybe he won't even tell Ted, and this is the fake out too. Heather is with, I think, Andre at the door in the preview, saying she knew he wouldn't be able to stay away. The end of this preview is dealing a lot with Andre and Heather. Heather being back in Andre's life, and if she's going to keep messing with him and Dani, because we end our preview with Dani with Andre, and he gets a text from Heather that says TikTok. At the end of Friday's episode, Heather gave Andre like an ultimatum that she needs him to do what she wants or give her what she wants in order for her to stop messing with Andre and Dani. We don't know what that something is yet. Hopefully it is something exciting. But yeah, I do think our preview at least looks better than this past very boring week. Let's get to some of y'all's comments. Aaliyah Hunter McDowell. Shout out to Aaliyah. She used to be one of the people always in my watch-alongs when I used to be able to do them. Aaliyah says, they made such a big deal about Kat getting a new condo. Can we see it, please? Why is Beyond the Gates allergic to getting more sets? Half of the cast seems to be homeless. Yeah, they need some new money to get new sets, I guess. Aaliyah also says, I hope they show the flashback of Andre seeing Heather do something he wasn't supposed to see, because so far I don't see the danger in this skinny chick. I too don't see how Heather is as dangerous and lethal as they have hyped her up to be. Maybe something will happen around the corner. Maybe something will happen with Smitty because she wants revenge on Smitty. But until then, it's hard for me to take Heather seriously as the big, bad, dangerous villain so far. Like, she's entertaining. I think the actress Ashley Jones is doing a good job in the role as Heather. She's been entertaining when messing with Andre, and especially the other day when Andre and Dani were together, but she's not this lethal villain they want her to be. Vernon Luxon says, I like the way Kat dismissed Tomas in today's episode. She's not really into him. I was looking forward to your take on it. Yeah, I don't think I talked about this on Monday's episode because I probably did some fast forwarding. I hope Kat is falling out of love with Tomas or whatever. That is needed. I think ever since the proposal, their communication styles have not been working for them as a couple, and I hope we are leading to both of them having a breakup, and then Kat can move on to a different storyline that is hopefully not a love triangle with Eva and Izaiah, and then Tomas can move on off the show. Abla K Beauty says, I hope the Andre Heather storyline leads to closing the Impaler storyline since they are going down this path. I mean, if it does, with how slow the pace on this show is, the storyline will close out in about, November 2027 maybe. But I do think that Heather is still going to be involved in like wanting revenge on at least Smitty, if not Jacob too. Carmela Gant said, wash, rinse, repeat. Why can't Joey make Vanessa promise to keep their convo private and just tell Vanessa that Heather is very dangerous and deadly and leave it at that? Vanessa is so annoying. We know she's not going to let it go. Yeah, she said recently she would let it go, but we will see with Vanessa. This show does love to have wash, rinse, and repeat scenes, and Vanessa and Joey are always having the same conversations. Alicia agreed that the show right now is rinse, wash, repeat. Lots of repetitive yada, yada, yada. Like Bill, this show needs a pacemaker. The no kissing between Ted and Shanice is becoming more and more painfully obvious and awkward. I mean, I kind of have to agree. If you're going to be on a soap opera and you're going to have this rule where you can't kiss someone in acting, I don't really know if the show should put you in a relationship. And it's not like this relationship with Ted has been good for the character of Shanice. So I am just kind of left confused by it all the way around. Pulse Graves said, Antarctica glaciers are melting faster than any rate of movement that happened today. About the only segment today I liked was Ashley having hospital security escort Hayley out of the hospital. And for me to like particularly anything Ashley ever says or does say a lot. I do think it says a lot. I did also enjoy security taking Hayley out of the hospital in that episode. One of the only entertaining things about it. Ashley's involvement, I don't really know if it was truly that great. Barbara Gregg said, Noah looks so much older than a young adult. That's because the actor is my age. In fact, a couple years older, I think. Kathleen Johnson 675 said, Andre and Danny's relationship, based mostly on sex, can see it imploding, especially with all the secrets. Tired of Hayley and Bill sure is one dumb lawyer. And what kind of doctors do they employ at Garland that they have not been able to figure out that Bill is being systematically poisoned? Madison should have figured it out weeks ago. Her license should be revoked. Maybe Madison should lose her case then, if she is not doing her job well enough to figure out what is really wrong with Bill and find the poison. Maybe Randy's just really, 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 really good at getting the right poison that stays out of the system. But yeah, the storyline needs to move along. And I do agree that Andre and Danny's relationship is based mostly on sex and gonna explode or implode, as you said. Gemini P said, today really was a bore. Like, come on, you are correct. They are allergic to drama. Nothing is happening. When is Hayley going to get found out? I'm going to be pissed if they can't find nothing wrong with Bill and just send him home again. What do they think drama is? Eva eavesdropping on her mama? I was not enthused. I don't know what this show thinks drama is sometimes, you know. Soap operas are called daytime dramas. But lately, Beyond the Gates acts like they can't have drama on the show. I think he's got to do something. Because I do agree. If Bill's just going to go home again, we really just had another stall along the way. And it just becomes more and more clear that they do not have a good idea of how to actually end this storyline. Debbie Duty Dandy said, like you, this episode solidified that Ted did have real feelings for Leslie/Dana at the time. It wasn't all one-sided, and while we didn't see a flashback where he said he was going to leave Nicole, Ted did tell Leslie she was the only woman he wanted to be with. Regardless, it was 25 years ago. She needs to let it go. Ted clearly doesn't feel the same and won't anytime soon. I do agree that she needs to let it go. I think this episode was trying to just give us the full effect of that affair back in the day. I did not need a flashback episode because the show was boring enough. But I understood what they were trying to do in showing us that back in the day, Ted did lead Leslie on, and this is why she is still obsessed. But I also agree she needs to get over it. And 3XATC definitely agrees, saying, please move Leslie into a different direction. Please, please, and thank you. We shall see if they ever do. Kathy said, can this show get any more boring? When you feel this show can't get any worse, it proves you wrong. Ted was an idiot then and now. This flashback didn't help his character. Yeah, it definitely showed us that Ted has always been dumb and that Ted was guilty back in the day. I don't think these flashbacks were supposed to help Ted's character, though. I think they were supposed to help Leslie's character. Did it do that exactly? It rounded out her obsession, but I don't know if it helped the character. Rodney Herring said, you always do a great job with the recap. Thank you. Rodney said, my viewer experience was boring, and so was a couple of my friends. One of my friends said she fell asleep. I can see how over this past week someone fell asleep watching those particular episodes, unfortunately. Hopefully this week will be much more entertaining. Fingers crossed. Last comment before I gotta go. Denica Moore said, this week was boring. Nothing moved forward. It's like we were at a stop sign waiting for it to turn green. I hope next week will be much better. I hope so too, Denica. I think it will be a better week. Do I think it's going to be a great week necessarily? Not quite, but hopefully maybe they'll prove me wrong for once and we will have an extremely entertaining week of Beyond the Gates. Just hopefully it's a lot less boring than this past week.